Welcome to SIRA MCQ YouTube channel. Today we discuss Advanced Level A-Level Accounting Paper 2024 question number 48. This is related to overhead cost absorption topic. Look here, what are the requirements? What are the requirements? There is a requirement, identify the following for each production cost center. What are the following? Overhead absorption rate. Okay. Cost center 1 and cost center 2. Next one, total budgeted overheads. There is a total budgeted overhead for cost center 1, cost center 2. What is the question? Look here. Company manufactures a single product. Okay, one product. It has two production cost centers. We know cost center 1, cost center 2. Budgeted information relating to these cost centers is given below. Overhead absorption, overhead absorbed per unit. Look here, overhead absorbed per unit. Absorbed means already done. Absorbed means included to product. Okay, overhead included per unit was 100 from cost center 1 and cost center 2, 240. Next one, processing time 2 direct labor hours, 3 machine hours. 2 direct labor hours means there are 2 labor hours consumed for produce 1 unit. Okay, there are 2 labor hours consumed for produce 1 unit. Okay, and 3 machine hours consumed for produce 1 unit. Next one, direct labor hours. Direct labor hours total 1 50,000. Machine hours cost center 2 20,000. Next one, overhead absorption basis for cost center 1 and cost center 2 are direct labor hours. Direct labor hours relating to cost center 1 and machine hours respectively. Machine hours relating to cost center 2. Okay, identify the following for each production cost center. Look here, overhead cost absorption rate and total budgeted overheads. Look here, you know what is the flow of the overhead cost absorption. Firstly, you prepare there is a statements. What is the statements? Is estimated over production overhead, overhead production overhead analysis sheet. At that time there are so many columns. Firstly, you identify the cost item. Next one is what is that? There is a portion basis of apportionment. Apportion means dividing. Okay, apportionment Next column is total cost. There are some 2 cost centers. No, therefore I identify cost center 1 and cost center 2. Okay, sorry, cost center 2. Okay, at that time, after the preparing of this statement, you find some answers. For an example, there is a cost we can identify for this cost center and this cost center separately. Cost center 1 total 1, cost center 2, there's a total 1. What is we write in estimated? Estimated means budgeted. Estimated total production overhead cost. After that, after the calculation of this total production overhead cost, look here, this is I can relate into connecting with question. Look here, their requirements. The second one is total budgeted overheads for cost center 1 and cost center 2. Total budgeted means total estimated overhead. Total estimated overheads is there. Why? Total is the total estimated production overhead cost is cost center 1 is there. Okay, after that, after the preparing this analysis sheet, you know, we prepare, this is the first step. No, this is the first step, the A step. What is the B step? You calculate separate absorption rate for cost center 1 and cost center 2. I concentrate to only cost center 1. Look here, cost center 1, how can we calculate absorption rate? Absorption rate. Then cost center, I write this one. I select cost center 1. How can we calculate? We use the total estimated production overhead for cost center 1. Okay, therefore I identified this rate total. This is the words total, this is the value. Okay, total estimated means I write budgeted production overhead cost dividing by what is the basis, machine hours or labor hours. This is relating to the cost center 1. No? Cost center 1 using, look here, overhead cost absorption basis. Cost center 1 is direct labor hours. Therefore, I divide this total direct labor hours. This is related to cost center 1. Okay, you know, this is the absorption rate they request. Look here, the question said they request absorption rate. Look here, overhead absorption rate. This is the requirement. You know, this is a B step. No, there is a second step. After the calculating this absorption rate, you prepare what is that? Based on the absorption rate, you absorbed include the cost to the unit. At that point, you prepare total production cost per unit. You prepare some statement, total production cost per unit. How can you calculate? Firstly, you identify the primary cost per unit. At that time, you identify direct material, direct labor, direct other cost. After the calculating of primary cost, look here, there is a primary cost is there. No, primary cost, using this space. After that you add production overheads per unit. Okay, you add production, you absorbed, you included to the product. Okay, production overhead cost per unit. How can you include this one? Firstly, you use the absorption rate. Look, the absorption rate is already calculated in step number B. At that time, using the step number B, you read there are some cost centers. Now, cost center 1, we use the absorption rate. Look here, rate is this one. Okay, absorption rate, this is absorption rate, meaning the labor hours. No, absorption, look here, there is a overhead cost per labor hour. This is the absorption rate meaning. After that, you multiplied actual consumed labor hours per unit. After that, after the multiplying this, you absorb this one, the rate per machine hour. There is absorption cost per machine hour. You multiplied actual consumed labor hours per unit. There are some actual number of hours, labor hours consumed for 1 unit produced. At that time, you multiplied this. After that, you can calculate absorbed, means included cost of the absorption cost. Therefore, we find the rate is there and absorption rate is another is there. Okay, look here, they said that using the cost center 1, no, cost center 1, firstly we concentrate cost center 1, you look here, overhead absorbed, already done per unit, absorbed per unit overheads, cost center 1. Absorbed mean already included 100. Already included 100 means what is the location? Look here, already included, absorbed means 100 means this one. Rate was multiplied by actual consumed labor hours per unit. We can identify actual, though estimated, no, absorbed, already done, already included cost. Based on that, we can find this one. Okay, look here, after that we find rate. No, firstly we identify the absorption rate. Rate is there. Actual consumed labor hours per unit, we can identify cost center 1. What is that? Look here, processing time 2 direct labor hours consumed. Okay, at that point 2 direct labor hours means this one. This is rate. Okay, rate multiplied by 2, answer is 100. There's a rate means overhead cost per labor hour. Overhead cost per labor hour. There are 2 labor hours. We can identify 100. What is the value of R? Rate 50. 50 why? 50 multiplied by 2, we can get 100. Therefore, absorption rate was cost center 1 is 50. 50 per machine hour. 50. Rate I write 50. There's a rupees, no, 50. Overhead per labor hour. labor. Okay, next one, total budgeted overheads. Total budgeted overheads means this one. Total budgeted overheads. Estimated total overheads cost. Overhead estimated means budgeted. Total production cost is there. This amount was included. This one. Look here. Total budgeted production overhead. You know, we find this one. How can we find? We already find absorption rate. Look here. Absorption rate was already found. 50. 50 is absorption rate answer. Answer is 50 is there. 50 is there. There's 50. You find the total budgeted production overhead is X divided by direct labor hours. Total direct labor hours. What is that? They supplied. Total direct labor hours. Look here. Direct labor hours 50,000. Cost center 1. 50,000. We divide 50,000. How can we find the X? 50,000 multiplied by 50,000. Therefore, we can cut it. 50 multiplied by 50,000. X should be identified as, this is the answer. Answer is 2,500,000. This is the answer. Why? 2,500 was divided by 50,000. Answer is 50. We multiplied that 50 in 50,000. Answer is 2,500,000. This is 2.5 million. No, 2,500 is the answer. This one, this is 1,000. No, therefore I write 2,500. 500. After that, easily we can find the cost center 2. Cost center 2 is relating to which hours? Machine hours. Therefore, I use this flow for cost center 2. Okay, at that point, cost center 2, what is that? Use this one. The rate is there. We multiplied by actual consumed, not labor hours, machine hours. Machine hours. We can identify absorbed, already included overhead cost. They supplied in cost center 2. Absorbed, already included overhead cost. Look here. Overhead absorbed per unit. Look here. Cost center 2 absorbed, already included 2,240. 240 is this one. This one. Actual consumed labor hours. No. This is a machine hours. No. Cost center 2. Machine. Actual consumed machine hours per unit. Look here. They supplied us processing time. Processing time means per unit production. Per unit production. 3 machine hours. You know, there is 3 machine hours consumed to 1 unit production. 3. After the rate multiplied by 3, we can identify 240. Why? Rate meaning is overhead cost per machine hour. There are per machine hour. Per machine hour overhead cost. There are 3 machine hours required for absorbed. Therefore, 240 divided in 3, we can find 80. 80 multiplied by 3, we can find 240. 240 divided in 3. 80 is absorption rate. Absorption rate. Absorption rate is 80. 80 is overhead per machine hour. Machine hour. Next one. total budgeted overhead we can identify using this one. Total budgeted overheads is there. Total budgeted production overhead is there. I use this. I eliminate this one. Okay. This is the total budgeted production overhead we must find. We already identify absorption rate of cost center 2. Absorption rate was already identified as 80. 80 was identified as this one. We want total budgeted production overhead. No, I use Y. Y is we must find. Total direct labor hours, we use machine hours. Okay, total direct machine hours. Total machine hours is there. Look here, machine hours total 20,000 for cost center 2. Cost center 2, 20,000 is this one. Total budgeted production overhead divided by 20,000, answer is 80. To find the Y, the total production overhead, I multiplied by 20,000. 80 multiplied by 20,000. What is the answer? Answer is, we can get it 1,600, the 1.6 million. This is the answer for total budgeted production overhead for cost center 2 is 1,000. There is 1,000, therefore I write 1,600. This is the answers. This is the reversed calculation of the production overhead cost absorption topic. Therefore, this is the answers. In next video, there is a cost volume profit analysis question number 49. In next video, we meet question number 49.